Now, the other Gulf Coast states, Texas, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, you're saying that they have the possibility and they have the legal authority to hire these attorneys who can wait to be paid.
Right.
So they don't have to put up the money to these attorneys up front, like Louisiana would have to do.
Right.
But if it had the money, but it doesn't.
Right. Not only wait to be paid, these attorneys would also front expenses. I mean, you're looking at tens of millions of dollars to hire experts to gather data. That's not attorney's fees. That's something that these lawyers would front. And if they lost the case, they wouldn't get any of that money back. And that's why contingency fees work very well. I mean, it allows people who can't afford an attorney to have
Like
representation.
Louisiana.
Absolutely. And now Louisiana is a client that can't afford its attorneys.
Okay. So, what long-term effect, other than the legal aspect, what long-term effect do you think that the British Petroleum oil spill will have on the people of Louisiana, the people here in on the Gulf Coast region, in Terrebonne and Lafourche parishes, who have, for the most part, or for most of their lives, gotten or received their income from the Gulf?
Everybody says this, but I truly believe it true. We are the most resilient people in South Louisiana. We get hit with hurricane after hurricane after hurricane, and we still come back. And because we're resilient people, and we'll recover from this, but it's gonna hit us hard. We studied a little bit of Alaska, how it had with the Exxon Valdez, and they're still 20 years out and still dealing with some of the impacts of the spill. This spill we know now is larger than Exxon Valdez, and also our estuary systems are much more fragile than where Exxon Valdez. A lot of that was beach and rocks that it was easy to clean up. We have the estuary systems and the marshes, which are not easy to clean up, and which, if damaged, hurts our fisheries and our ecosystem.
Now, Louisiana is affected not only with regard to its fishing industry, but also with regard to its oil field industry. Two major industries in both Terrebonne and Lafourche that are very much tied to the people. What should the legislature do to respond to the needs of the people in South Louisiana, especially in Terrebonne and Lafourche parishes?
Well, again, the president issued that moratorium, which just yesterday that the judge overruled and said that there was not enough grounds. But that's going to be a big legal battle. I'm sure some type of moratorium will eventually get out, and that's extremely detrimental. The legislature realized the impact of that, and we issued a resolution unanimously to the president and to Mr. Salazar to lift the moratorium. Louisiana is a very unique place. We, I think, realize that we can have industry, we can have oil field, but yet we can have our ecosystem as well. They can coexist. We've done that for generations, and but we do have to protect our environment. We can drill safely. We've been, they've drilled over 35,000 wells in the Gulf of Mexico. This is the first major incident. Accidents will happen. They need to be addressed. We need to do everything we can to minimize future accidents, but we can't just stop drilling.
Now, you sit on numerous committees and boards, advisory boards and committees that deal directly with the wetlands, directly with coastal erosion, even before this British Petroleum oil spill. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. I served on the Governor's Advisory Commission for Coastal Restoration for 3 governors. I served under Governor Foster, who originally appointed me. Governor Blanco kept me there, and then I served a little while in Governor Jindal's term. I'm no longer there. The Governor's Advisory Commission for Coastal Restoration looks at all the activities that we have for our coast, whether it be restoration or levee protection, and make recommendations to the governor. So I've helped advise 3 governors on coastal restoration matters. I also sit on the Ways and Means Committee. Ways and Means Committee is the one of the money committees. It's the taxing committee, but we're also in charge of capital outlay. And the reason I got on that is because the levee projects are in capital outlay, which is controlled by Ways and Means. And that's where our Margansons to the Gulf here in Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish is vital. And that's why I always sat on a committee. I've had opportunities to go to other committees, but I stayed on the Ways and Means Committee just so I can protect our Margansons to the Gulf.
Now, you have a wealth of experience with regard to issues that affect the area, the South Louisiana area. However, you will be termed out of office in about 2 years. You are in your 10th of 12 years. I understand that members of the House of Representatives in the state legislature are limited to 3 terms. Now, what do you plan to do after you are out of office? How are you planning to utilize the skills and the information, the knowledge that you've gained throughout your terms in session? Are you planning to use those to benefit Louisiana in any way, and how?
Yes. In Louisiana, we have term limits. You serve 3 4-year terms in the House, or you can serve 3 4-year terms in the Senate, or a combination of both. You can do both consecutively. It's sad. I've seen term limits. Because I served with the guys who served there for 37 years and were term limited out. There's pros and cons to term limits. I think I have to side with the side of against term limits, even though they're here and they're here to stay. You lose so much wealth of knowledge. Every year, I think I become a better legislator. You learn more of the process. You learn more of the people. You learn more of the tricks of the trade. And all of a sudden, it's like if a CEO worked for a company for 12 years and was doing a great job, and all of a sudden you have to go, and we get somebody that starts fresh. So term limits is a reality. We have redistricting next year. A census happened in 2010. And every 10 years, the federal government says that we have to have a census. From that, we have to reapportion the districts. So right now, even though I'm term limited in the House, I still can run for a Senate seat. By law, I can run for any Senate seat that my current House seat is in, or any new one that my current House seat is in. So thank God Tepper and Lafourche has grown, so I think we will not lose a Senate seat, and we may even gain one. So there's several different Senate seats that I may run for. At this time, that's a possibility. I'm still eyeing the congressional seat for Washington. Congressman Charlie Melanson is running against David Vitter, so he's given up his seat. That's the 3rd congressional district. And
that was going to be my next question. I know that your heart is in Louisiana, that you have worked for the last 10 years in the legislature to support not only our charity hospital system, but also the university system specifically for this area. But I was going to ask you if you ever thought about bringing that knowledge and those interests to Washington, D.C.
Absolutely. Again, politics was never my goal, but I feel that I'm in a position where to best give back to my community is to possibly to go higher, either state senate or a state office, or to Washington. Washington is not really fun. I mean, it really is a huge sacrifice. You give up your life when you go to Washington, and that's a big consideration because you're there every week. You're on a plane Sunday night, Monday morning. You don't come back to Thursday or Friday, and you do that 9 months of the year.
I want to hear more about your thoughts on going to Washington, running for a political seat, representing the state of Louisiana on a national level, and we will talk about that when we come back from this segment. We'll be right back with an interview with Mike Billiot.